Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Oneness of life, the oneness within us. Understanding what is oneness. What does that mean, that oneness? We say, I want to be one. What is that one? Ek, we say, one. And to understand that everything in the universe is part of us and we're part of everything in the universe. We blend with the universal energy and the universal energy blends into us. There's no separation. In this Western world living, they teach a separation between the oneness of the existence of all things and ourselves, that there's a separation. But reality is there's no separation. We are one with the universe is one with us. The energy of that comes through us and flows through us. It's the connection that we make to that gives us that experience. That experience of oneness is that experience that I'm not separated within myself. That the core elementary part of me, that soul, that Atma, that soul understanding of me relates to all that exists within the entire cosmos, all creation. In this physical world that we live, all creatures, all things, and the metaphysical worlds, the Akashic fields, and into the universe itself and the existence of all suns, all moons, all solar systems, all the star systems, all of that there's no separation. We are part of that. There's a connection that we have. And that connection is what brings us an understanding in our own minds of what we learn, what we feel, what we experience, what the intuitive mind brings forth into us. That reminds us that we're not separated. In fact, the yearning of every human being is to be connected. We have that urge to merge. Two understandings of a human being. One is the urge to merge. The second one is that there's a longing within us to belong. We want to belong somewhere, and we want to merge. And that merge in the state of our consciousness is the power of the meditative mind, the power of our spiritual practice. The power of that connection that we vibrate. We're harmony, we're a harmonious being, we're a musical instrument. Every human being, every creature that we see, everything has a harmony, has a music, has a vibration, has a sound to it. We say every chakra has a different sound. All the vibrations that we have when we sing our mantras, when we meditate, we vibrate at Ong Kar, Satanam, Vaheguru, 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 all those mantras that we use that help us to establish the relationship of the vibrational force within us that vibrates into that vibrational force of the universe. That there's no separation. That I'm part of the universe and the universe is part of me. So I believe the first state of consciousness of a spiritual understanding is to understand that I'm part of the universe and the universe is part of me. Jat me jot, jot me jat. We say jot means the light. That means that light of that which created all creation exists in me, and I exist in the light of that creation. So if I understand that, I embrace that as truth within myself, and I feel that, then I flow with this life, then I go with this life, then I know this life. And I can understand my own intuitive power. I can understand the strength of who I am. I understand that I'm only one person here that connects with many souls, and we connect with many souls together to combine that energy to experience the infinite light of the entire universe and the infinite light of myself. From the finite to the infinite, from the infinite to the finite, without beginning, without end. That concept of without beginning, without end. I wear this steel bracelet, it's called a kara. So this kara is a steel bracelet that reminds me that everything that goes around comes around. And if you look at this steel bracelet, if you look at this kara, we call it, can you look at it and say it starts here and it ends there? You can't. There's no starting point, there's no ending point. It's all reminding me of this circle of life, the circle of my existence within that. And a reminder to me that I'm not separated from that which created me, and that which created me is not separated from me. So we're talking about a merging that understands that we are all part of that. And when that experience happens, when we can feel it within ourselves, vibrate it deeply within, then what can affect you? What can take you out of that balance? Ong Kar, the oneness of all creation. Ek means one. Ong Kar means the vibration of that, source of that infinity that draws me, that takes me, that carries me into this life form that I live in this physical body so that I can feel connected to everything. That's the gift of this physical body. We've been given the gift of this form. in this form of this physical body, to find that exact balance point between our finite self, that which exists, and the infinite self, that which can relate to the heavens and beyond. And to have that experience beyond the finite self, to feel the infinite self. That we call Guru. Guru is what? Guru is that which is the conduit between that which takes me out of the darkness of where I am to give me the light of where I am. That raises me, lifts me in the conduit between the finite self and the infinite self to understand that everything is a flow. I flow, we say I want to flow. I just want to flow with life. But there's my flow, that which exists within me, that flow in me, and there's a flow of the entire universe. So what is the balance point between my flow and the flow of the universe? That I flow into the universe and the universe flows into me. And if we can embrace that deeply and carry it as our truth, then what can take you out of the balance of life? We get caught in this brain of ours, we get caught into this situation, we get caught into that circumstance, we get caught into that consequence, we get caught into everything, and then we say, I lose the sight of that balance and forget that remembrance doesn't come back into us that reminds us that we're part of everything and everything is part of us. We say it, but do we feel it? We say, I want to feel Ong Kar, I want to feel the oneness of everything, but do I exist in that oneness? Do I exist in that experience within myself? And how can I attain it and maintain it? And my belief, we attain it through our spiritual practice, through that connection. And we maintain it by maintaining that spiritual practice. That becomes our way of life. Our way of life becomes so strong that spiritual practice is so vast within us that we never separate ourselves 24/7, sada, sada, forever, forever. We never separate ourselves from that. Through how? Through Nam Japo, through the meditation of the vibration, of the Nam, of the vibration within me. So I'm never separated from that, Nam Japo. And understand the gift that we have, that's what we call kirpa. That's the gift that we have, kar, kirpa, kar, nam japyo, satguru. So the true guru, the true light of all existence vibrates within my heart, my soul, my being. And then I find contentment. Because I believe that contentment's not going to come how much land we have, how much people we have, how much monies we have in the bank, how many houses we want to buy, how many cars we want to drive. The true contentment, santok we call that, true contentment comes from my relationship to my infinity. That's the most fundamental aspect of a human, to feel connected to one's own contentment, which comes through the content within me that vibrates the sound current of life and vibrates that to the universe vibrates it back to me. So there's always a flow of energy. And that's the balance. In that balance, I say, what then can affect me? Yes, we get busy and the mind goes this way, mind goes that way, this bothers us here, that bothers us there, this physical ailment hurts me here, my mind's feeling this, I don't feel. What is that infinite within myself? I know all those, I've heard every one. But mostly it comes to one thing, the commitment you make to you. That's a personal choice. To make that commitment to yourself, we're meant to commit. Without that commitment, nothing happens. First stage of enlightenment is commitment. First stage of happiness is commitment. Commitment gives us a character. Character gives us a dignity. Dignity gives us a divinity. Divinity gives us a grace. Grace gives us the power to sacrifice. And with the power of sacrifice will always come happiness. Those are the 7 simple steps. That becomes my consciousness. And my consciousness begins with that commitment, will lead those steps. And through those steps I can find my contentment, and through that contentment, because once we reach that stage, there's no fear of what I'm able to give to surrender to that, to give that sacrifice so that I can win this life. Sacrifice isn't a negative word, sacrifice, here's all my clothes, take from me. Nay. Sacrifice is my understanding that I become humble to that which exists in the entire realm of all universes, and I'm part of that, not separate from that. And the power that I have is the power to understand that. The power to surrender to that within myself, so that I can help others, serve others, and be served. That's the seva. The seva means the service of life. And then where's the imbalance in that? The imbalance only comes when we forget about that, we we fall back into that duality and we forget about the oneness. And when we fall back into the duality of self and we start to doubt ourselves and question what we're doing and then becoming insecure of that, and then our fears come up, then all those past angers come up, then all those resentments come forward and all those hurts start to come out and every wound starts to be open and what does that lead? Emotion to commotion, commotion to drama, drama to trauma, trauma to disasters, a cycle of karma. Motion to commotion. A simple cycle. So what do we understand then in the spiritual life? We use that word consequence. So what's a consequence? But what's the root word of consequence? The root word of consequence is sequence. Everything we do is in a sequence. You woke up this morning, you did this, you went out this way, you brushed your teeth, you had to make this, you did that. Everything you do is a sequence. And every sequence that you have leads to a consequence, leads to some action, to some outcome. So what's a simple philosophy of life? It says if you can contain and command your sequences, you can command your consequences. So we establish out what is my sequence? What did I do today that brings me to a positive way of life, a positive consequence, a positive outcome of what I want? So that this body of mine, this soul of mine can feel that santo, can feel that contentment, the ananda bliss, the sukh, the peace, the sahaj, the calmness, all those things that exist within each of us, so that we're not separated. We weren't born in this, in my belief, not born to this world that we should be separated from that which created this creation, but that we should experience the vastness of that within us. That's true liberation. To me, that is what Guru Nanak Dev Ji, when he came, taught that simple truth. And that's what brought me to the feet of these teachings, was that understanding. That there's no limit. There's not someone that says, well, you can only get this far, you can't go further than that. Unless you pay me this money, then I'll give you enlightenment, I'll touch your forehead, you'll feel nirvana. And it doesn't exist. We don't initiate anybody. Why? Because we say if you can't initiate yourself, then why should I be the one to initiate you in that process? This is a self-initiation, it's a self-understanding, it's a self-experiment, it's like self-learning, a self-expansion, a self-healing, a self-knowledge that comes into each of us, and then we share that. That we call to Sangat. Sharing it to Sangat, sharing it to the congregation, to embrace all of us, each of us. We embrace that in our families, don't we? Family is a Sangat, family is together, we're sharing together. We're merging together, we're helping each other. And we're expanding that outside of that, just family unit. We expand it to community, community grows, and the experience of consciousness expands. It'll always expand through consciousness. It'll always, that consciousness will expand through Sangat, through community, will always expand into universal consciousness. First is one, first is me, and that oneness. My consciousness which exists, as I merge my consciousness with your consciousness and others, and we share that consciousness. And through that sharing of that consciousness, we understand what is then the experience of infinity. It moves in that cycle to experience that. Sadhana, aradhana, prabhupati. It all merges together. Aradhana means the awakening. Prabhupati, to experience life, to experience the infinite, Prabhu. All of that exists in our consciousness, and all of that exists within our awareness, and all of it exists within our auric field, our electromagnetic field. Because we're merging our electromagnetic field into the electromagnetic field of the universe. There's no separation between myself and that, which is the existence of time and space. We exist in time and space, it's very clear for what purpose. To become timeless and spaceless. I exist in time and space, you exist in time and space. But we merge in timelessness and we merge in spacelessness. So that we can experience consciousness and merge that consciousness with each other, share that, and feel the experience of all that exists in this universe, because that's where all thought comes from, that's where all knowledge is attained, that's where every teaching exists. In those Akashic fields, in that realm of existence, every teaching from every age, every generation, every age is existent. And when we say we know something, sometimes say, how do I even know that? But it connects to us. Because even if we're not that intuitively connected to it, we connect to it automatically. Because we're part of it. It's just how conscious are you of the parts that you are, to be consciously aware of that which exists so that you can feed from that energy. And you can learn from that knowledge and gain that knowledge within yourself. And by opening our mind through meditation, through that meditative process, through our devotional worship, through our devotional practice, to experience the jyot within yourself, to feel that light. Enlighten only means I lit the light. Are you lighting your light every day through your spiritual practice? Do you feel that light every day? Is that jyot so strong in you that nothing can shake you from where you are? Nothing can take you from where you are? Because you've made yourself who you are. And to me, that's the independence of every human being, the liberation of every human being. And that we have to stand for today. In these times, peace has to prevail. The consciousness of humanity and the sacredness of life has to prevail. And we have to be those instruments to help share to this world a message of peace, of unity, of tolerance, of acceptance, of the equality and the freedom of choice, the freedom of preference, the freedom for every human being to experience joyfulness in this life, prosperity in this life, and the oneness within our own heart, to feel the oneness of the heart of the universe. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.